Hello, second Julia. Welcome to another Making Meaning. This week we are reading The Art Lesson by Tomie dePaola. But first, before we get to that, let's do some vocabs. All right, our first word is insist. Insist. Insist means to demand or ask something very firmly. This father is insisting his son clean up his room. He's asking very firmly. Insist. Second one, create. Create. Create means to make something new. This team is creating a robot. They are making something new. Next one, predict. Predict. Predict means to say what you think will happen in the future. I think we're gonna catch a lot of fish. This girl is predicting that she's going to catch a lot of fish. The last one is fabulous. Fabulous. Fabulous means something wonderful or terrific. These hot air balloons are fabulous. Alright, we are moving on to The Art Lessons by Tomie dePaola. I'm trying something different this week, and I have some discussion questions on the back. They're going to correlate to the stopping points in here. I will also post these online to Schoology, so you can pause me and answer them, or you can answer them on Schoology as well. The art lesson. Tomie knew he wanted to be an artist when he grew up. He drew pictures everywhere he went. It was his favorite thing to do. His friends had favorite things to do too. Jack collected all kinds of turtles. Herbie made huge cities in his sandbox. Janine, Tommie's best friend, could do cartwheels and stand on her head. But Tomie drew and drew and drew. His twin cousins, who were already grown up, were in art school learning to be real artists. They told him not to copy and to practice, practice, practice. So he did. Tomie put his pictures up on the wall on his half on the bedroom. His mom put them up all around the house. His dad took them to the barber shop where he worked. Tom and Nana, Tommie's Irish grandfather and grandmother, had his pictures in their grocery store. Nana Fall River, his Italian grandmother, put one in a special frame next to the table to the photograph of Aunt Cleo in her wedding dress. Once Tomie took a flashlight and a pencil under his covers and drew pictures on his sheets. But when his mom changed the sheets on Monday and found them, she said, "No more drawing on the sheets, Tomie." His mom and dad were having a new house built, so Tomie drew pictures of what it would look like when it was finished. When the walls were coming up, one of the carpenters gave Tomie a piece of bright blue chalk. Tomie took the chalk and drew beautiful pictures all over the unfinished walls. But when the painters came, his dad said, "That's it, Tomie. No more drawing on the walls." All right, we've come to our first stop point. The first question is, what have you learned so far? What have you learned about Tomie so far? So what have you learned about Tomie so far? You can pause this video and answer me, or you can write it down. Tomie couldn't wait to go to kindergarten. His brother, Joe, told him that there was a real art teacher who came to the school to give art lessons. When do we have our art lessons? Tomie asked the kindergarten teacher. "Oh, you won't have art lessons until next year," said Miss Bird, "but we are going to paint pictures tomorrow." It wasn't much fun. The paint was awful and the paper got all wrinkly. Miss Bird made the paint by pouring different colored powders into different jars and mixing them with water. The paint didn't stick to the paper very well and it cracked. If it was windy when Tomie carried his picture home, the paint blew right off the paper. At least you get more than one piece of paper in kindergarten, his brother Joe said. When the art teacher comes, you only get one piece. Tomie knew that the art teacher came to the school every other Wednesday. He could tell she was an artist because she wore a blue smock over her dress and always carried a big box of thick colored chalk. Right, we've come to our second stopping point, which our question is, what are you wondering at this point in the story? What are you wondering about? Again, you can pause me or you can write it down. Once Tomie and Janine looked at the drawings that were hung up in the hallway. They were done by first graders. Your pictures are much better, Janine told Tomie. Next year, when we have real art lessons, you'll be the best one. Tomie could hardly wait. He practiced all summer. Then, on his birthday, which was right after school began, his mom and dad gave him a box of 64 Crayola crayons. Regular box of crayons had red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet, brown, and black. This box had so many other colors: blue, violet, turquoise, red, orange, pink, and even gold, silver, and copper. Class, said Miss Landers, the first grade teacher, next month the art teacher will come to our room, so on Monday, instead of singing, we will practice using our crayons. On Monday, Tomie brought his 64 crayons to school. Miss Landers was not pleased. Everyone must use the same crayon, she said. School crayons. School crayons had only the same 8 colors. As Miss Landers passed them out to class, she said, "These crayons are school property, so don't break them, peel off the paper, or wear down the points." "How am I supposed to practice being an artist with school crayons?" Tomie asked Jack and Herbie. "That's enough, Tomie," Miss Landers said, "and I want you to take those birthday crayons back home with you and leave them there." And Joe was right. They only got one piece of paper. Another stopping point. So, my next stopping point has 2 questions this time. So the first one is, how do you think Tomie feels right now? So thinking about the story, how do you think he's feeling right now? And the second question, or the last question, is, what do you think will happen next? I would like you to predict what you think is going to happen next in the story. Finally, the day of the art class came. Tomie could hardly sleep that night. The next morning, he hid his box of 64 crayons under his sweater and went off to school. He was ready. I'm going to bring it in so you can really see that he has a box of crayons underneath his shirt. The classroom door opened and in walked the art teacher. Miss Landers said, "Class, this is Miss Bowers, the art teacher. Patty, who is our paper monitor this week, will give one piece of paper to each of you. And remember, don't ruin it, because it is the only piece of paper you'll get. Now pay attention to Miss Bowers." "Class," Miss Bowers began, "because Thanksgiving is not too far away, we will learn how to draw a pilgrim man, a pilgrim woman, and a turkey. Watch carefully and copy me." Copy? Copy? Tomie knew that real artists didn't copy. This was terrible. This was supposed to be a real art lesson. He folded his arms and just sat there. "Now what's the matter?" Miss Landers asked. Tomie looked past her and spoke right to Miss Bowers. "I'm going to be an artist when I grow up, and my cousins told me that real artists don't copy. And besides, Miss Landers won't let me use my own 64 Crayola crayons. Well, well, Miss Bowers said, what are we going to do? She turned to Miss Landers and they whispered together. Miss Landers nodded. Now, Tommy, Miss Bowers said, it wouldn't be fair to let you do something different from the rest of the class. But I have an idea. If you draw the Pilgrim Man and the Pilgrim Woman and the turkey, and there is any time left, I'll give you another piece of paper and you can do your own picture with your own crayons. Can you do that? I'll try, Tommy said with a big smile. And he did, and he did, and he still does. Alright, so that is the end of the first part of the Making Meaning lesson. In the second lesson, I will post the discussion questions that you can also answer on Schoology. Thank you.